Well, we're excited about the victory against a very good Navy football team. They challenge you for 4 quarters. Their scheme, their players, their coaches, they make you work for everything. And it's a difficult team to play. We have a ton of respect for them, not only, for what they represent as an academy, but as a football team. Their scheme is very difficult. I think defensively that's the best the defense that I've faced since I've been here at Notre Dame. And, again, I think Ken does a great job with Navy. We're really excited about the win. Our kids put in a lot of time and effort, and our entire team, our game ball went to Rob Regan, who is the quarterback of our swag team that demonstrates the option, and they did a great job of preparing our defense. I thought our offense did a great job of controlling the football in the second half when we needed to really keep our defense off the field. So a lot of positive things that we got to work on. We had some good things in special teams and some not so good things in special teams that we've got to get better at. We had a great kick from Justin Yoon, which was a great momentum piece for us just before the half. We had a fumble recovery on a kickoff, and then we let a couple out that we got to get better at. So, some real positive things in special teams and some things that we got to work on. All in all, good victory. So, with that, I'll open up to questions.
Martini just seems to be built for these games. Can you talk about his performance?
Well, he's got a really good understanding of his job, and he's a disciplined player, Eric. So, when we ask him to do his job, he's going to get it done. He just fits really well with the scheme that we're employing, and so it's just a really good fit. Very disciplined. He trusts, what we're asking him to do, and again, is one of the 11 guys out there that makes it work for us.
And Matthias Farley, you kind of plugged him in pretty early.
Yeah.
Can you talk about why you did that and what you got out of him?
Well, him and Max were going to be interchangeable for us, and we felt like we went with Matthias, and we could have gone either way with that. And we gave Max the chance to start, and we wanted to see Matthias too. And then as the game kind of unfolded, we just stayed with Matthias. But both of them practiced hard all week. It was really just probably a little bit of a preference with a veteran player, more so than anything else.
Coach, two-part question. First half, they had 97 yards rushing on 11 carries at the fullback position. Second half, 37 yards on 10 carries. What was it that was giving you some issues in the first half, and what was the adjustment in the second half? Was it execution, scheme? What was going on there?
Well, both. We couldn't get to the fullback. The fullback was hitting wider than we couldn't get our backer. We couldn't get our five technique down. So consequently, when we tried to get into our front that put our Sam and our Will on the dive, we just couldn't get there. And they were not running it to Jalen. They were running it to James Onawalu's side. They obviously checked away from Jalen every time. And James was trying to get down to it, and he was getting knocked off. So we went with Grace in the second half, a bigger body, and he was able to get himself down onto that fullback a little bit better in the second half. So, it was a little bit of scheme and it was a little bit of execution. They keep prodding and looking for opportunities, to run their offense, and that was one of the areas where they thought that they could get the fullback through, and they did effectively, and then we made some adjustments at halftime.
And with CJ, you guys were getting the ball to him in some different ways early in the game. Is that sort of a maturation of him in the offense, or was it something specific to what you saw from Navy?
Well, Navy runs a lot of two-shell, so they're in a lot of two-shell, and it was really trying to find different ways to get him on the perimeter. And they fire a lot of their edge players. So sometimes it's a matter of trying to build some speed and get him to the perimeter, either by putting a tight end on the edge of your offense or by trying to get some of the handoff sweep action and get him outside of some of that edge pressure. So, again, just trying to get one of our skilled players on the edge of their defense was, part of our plan.
So is that the reason you guys been running a lot of the power read with the jet sweeps, a little bit slower developing? Is that kind of the reason you also went to the
we
shovel?
needed, because of their shell, again, we felt like we needed to get the ball out on the perimeter quicker, and then we wanted Kaiser's stats to look a lot better. No, I'm just kidding about that.
Coach, their first series offensively, they had success, and
Yeah.
then after that, you kind of shut them down. How concerned were you with another first series success, and then what did you do to shut them down?
Well, it goes kind of to the question that was asked earlier. Their fullback was hitting wider, and we knew that was going to be the thing that we needed to stop. On that particular long run, we just overran the play. We had our safety right there as an unblocked hat, and we simply did not execute. So the long run that they had, the quarterback, we were in a position where we just did not execute on that play. And then they came back, and our corner, they cracked inside. Our corner's supposed to replace on the second play for a touchdown, and just did not, fill the way he should have. So we weren't that concerned on those two plays, other than they scored so quickly, and all right, here we go, off to a poor start. But I thought we responded very well offensively. And I think that response of scoring right away kind of settled everybody down.
And with all the reviews, all the long timeouts, how hard is it to get into a rhythm and stay functioning?
It was difficult. I don't remember as many reviews as we had today. Some of them seemed to be appropriate, I guess. It would be hard for me to really comment. I'd have to go back and look at each one of them individually. But, boy, it just seemed like a lot of them. And, of course, we've got TV timeouts as well. It just seemed hard to get into a rhythm.
Brian, over here, you kind of touched on the momentum you guys got from Justin's field goal to end the first half. What did that do kind of going into the locker room and just the overall tenor of the team at halftime?
It wasn't like giddy, we got this thing, I think it was just we were excited that we were able to execute our offense with 23 seconds to go. We threw a draw in there, and my feeling was let's throw a draw in here. If we can pick up a first down, then let's try to run, one of our standard double out cuts and see if we can get this thing close enough that we can get a kick at it. And, CJ hit a nice run in there, what gave us an opportunity to get the kick. So, anytime you can add some points right before the half, it gives you some momentum. But we knew we were in for, 2 more long quarters.
Navy, a team that doesn't make a ton of mistakes, but you guys capitalize on both the fumbles. What did that do?
Huge possessions. We were able to gain more possessions in this game than any other game that we've played against Navy. I don't know exactly how many possessions we had, but I think we were close to 15 possessions. We normally average 10 possessions against them. So I think those obviously meant a lot in this game.
Coach, over here, with Justin Yoon, you just mentioned the kick. How much faith did you have in him from that distance? I know it was the end of the half, but also, how have you seen him kind of figure things out, I guess, as he's gone on here?
Well, I think it was a point of conversation here a couple of weeks ago, and I was very confident that we had straightened out some of his mechanics. And, he had a 45-yard kick down at Clemson. That was a big kick for us. This was a 52-yarder. Is that correct, Mike? 52-yarder and kicked it well. We knew what his distance was in pregame. We always established what we think his max distance was going that way. We had a little bit of a breeze there, and his max distance was right at that number. So we were confident that if the mechanics were good and the snap was good and the hold was good, that he could make it.
Yeah, Brian, where did you think CJ would be in this role at this point in the season, and has he met or exceeded that so far?
Well, I think he's still evolving within that role. Missed a couple of protections today, but I think what I like the most about him is he is in that learning curve, and he's excited about every single day working towards being a better running back. And so here's a guy that's a veteran player that is embracing his position as a freshman, really, and learning about his position every single day. I thought his run late was extraordinary in the sense that we were backed up. He was very patient, waited for his tight end on the kick-out block. That just takes so much patience and trust in an offensive lineman, and for him to show and exhibit that, I just think speaks volumes of the kind of player he is.
Right now that the option's out of sight, out of mind, at least till next year.
Thank
how
gosh.
How would you, I guess, evaluate the total work from the offseason with Bob Elliott to the scout team the last couple of weeks to the defense's overall response to facing
Very
two teams?
pleased. Very pleased. I think there's always things that we can work on to get better, but I think we've established something that I wanted to establish, and that is a base way of playing the option teams and something that we can carry with us and something that can be repeatable, that we can work on in the spring and keep our guys familiar with our system as we defend option. And I think that that's what we wanted to win both games. That was first and foremost. In whatever fashion, if we won by one, that would have been fine with me. And then have a system in place that's repeatable and that we can come back to each and every year.
You ever in your career given a game ball to a scout team player?
I can't remember one, but I was sure happy to give one to him. That's for certain.
Brian, right here.
Yeah.
A lot of times when adversity hits on the field, you guys really have a quick response, whether it's go down early or being aggressive right before halftime. Just the ability to turn around things quickly with a positive response. Where's that come from? Is it leadership, maturity? Where's that team come from on this team? Because it's shown up in multiple games.
Yeah, I would agree with the kind of personalities that we have, the leadership. They do not, they don't carry that with them very long. They have, they have one or two ways to Dom, come on in. Dom, come on in. That's Dominic Raiola. He's one of our graduate assistants. He's a heck of a guy. He'll be running the hill tomorrow. So they just have a resiliency to them. But I would say, to answer your question specifically, they just have a way of getting back to work quickly. They don't. Every time there's been any kind of sense of adversity, they go right back to work. If somebody got hurt, they get back to work. If there was like in our loss to Clemson, there was a great deal of disappointment, but they were so professional this week in the manner that they went back to work. And I think that has everything to do with the kind of leaders we have in the locker room.
Brian, building off that, coming off the loss, did you get the response you wanted from the guys, not only during the week, but also today, that you wanted to see?
We beat a very good team by 17 points. I think that's a validation. I thought we prepared, and I was saying this to Coach Bob Elliott prior to the game. I thought we had a great week of practice. I thought we prepared very well, and we were just talking back and forth. I said, I don't know what else to do. I was so pleased with the way that they were focused during the week, preparing for Navy, not worrying about anything else. They weren't talking about last week. They weren't talking about USC. They were focused on playing this football team. And that's really all you can ask for as a coach. I thought their focus was outstanding, and it paid off.
And going back to CJ, was a game like this important for him confidence-wise after the struggles of last week to kind of bounce back and have another big game?
I don't know that he felt like he struggled as much as we struggled collectively at times running the football. But, there were circumstances there that were difficult to run the football. We knew today was going to be a better opportunity to run the football by the way they designed their defense. Thanks, everybody. Good.